Good morning. Testing. Good morning, everyone. It's another good week over here. We have a lot of things actually that is actually aligned over here, but I'm going to take a very minimal time over here to explain what we actually expect the market to do this week. So it's just going to be a very interesting things over here. Make sure that you actually follow until the end. If this is your first time to be over here, always make sure that you like. It will actually make some people to be joining this live now. It will be helping, yeah, it will be helping so much over here. So make sure that you like, new person over here, like, subscribe, and we are going to be having a lot of things that I'm going to discuss over here in 20 minutes, 15 minutes over here, 30 minutes over here, and actually be done with that. Now last week there is something that actually happened, and it's just very interesting. Last week, if you're actually trending over there, you are following about, the things changed at the end of the week. That is on Friday, where the Powell, who is the bank president of the US, okay, the seated interest rate of the US now is actually 3.2%, and according to the speech actually was delivering, is like he is aiming actually to bring those inflation rate to 2%. What does that mean? That means that there is more hiking. According to them, they will bring more hiking to the market until they bring 2%. Actually, after I've been doing some research over there, I've seen that these things is actually it's not interesting to many experts over there, because they think actually it's just going to affect the US economy by just making sure that they bring inflation to 2% and doing all those things. So it's very interesting things, and that's why you can see a lot of things happened over there on Friday. Gold was rising over here, but after the speech you can see how the gold moved from 1917 to 1903 over there. So that is the move that we have over there, and that is what we actually saw. So what do you see, what can happen this week? What do we see this week happening over here? We have a lot of news, but I'm just going to touch over here, not like usually how we've been doing, because for now I believe everyone know how to interpret this news. So I'm just going to see first of all, I have actually filtered this to see the forex market, what we expect over here. Like I'll be focusing on Australian dollar over here. You can see this is Michele will just be speaking over here about the monetary policy that we actually expect, and this is going to set to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. so you can actually follow that. If maybe you actually trained this Australian dollar, maybe Howdy USD, you can actually follow these to understand whether this monetary policy that is actually going to be implemented over there just going to be helping you over there. SP news just going to be expected over here, but this time lower. And what does this mean? Actually, this news, remember, just released monthly, about 60 days after the month ends. Okay, so you can see we are expecting a little bit negative over here, which is, I think, more than. So it says action greater than forecast is good for the currency. So SP news over here is expected actually to strengthen the dollar a little bit, because you can see between negative 17 1.7, and this one is actually bigger over here. So you can see actually this news tomorrow 4 p.m, if we actually print more than this, maybe less negative, then we are going to have a little bit of strengthening the dollar over here. So that is what we just be checking on the news that actually affect the metals, US oils over here. But these are the same news that actually can affect the metals, the same SP news, the dollar. If you see any news actually affecting the dollar, just know this high chance is going to affect the gold as well. It will affect the gold as well. Consumer confidence USA over here 116, and this still ones over here. Remember, these are what we call the high impact news. That is what I filtered over here to get. And as you can see, the ones that we actually expected over here, remember this is a forecast. For those people who want to know, this is just a forecast according to the expert what they've just done over here, just to do analysis. This can, you always expect the result to be either different or the same, but you can see it's actually lower. But what you can expect over here is this not favoring the dollar over here, job opening over here, and a lot of things that are happening on Tuesday. So you can see we have at least some news this week covering Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, even for the US dollar over here. So we have a lot of things that are happening over here. I always be sending all this news and how they will just be happening over here. And remember, the things that we expect this week actually is on Wednesday, okay, where we will be expecting NFP. NFP actually is one of that is going to cause the market to move right over here. And what do you expect? What does the NFP news actually says over here? The NFP news actually is not favoring the dollar this time. This time is not favoring the dollar at all. As you can see, actually we have non-farm employment change. You will just be expecting to come down over here, and which means actually we're actually predicting to come to 201 from 324,000. that means we might be having less than that, and actually is not going to favor the dollar at all. So what does this mean? That means that in case this news actually, in case the market is actually where it is now, like we have Euro USD for now is at 1.08. this NFP news actually can move the market. This is one of the major things that can move the market so much over here, okay? Indiana non-farm employment change, okay? Someone is saying this is not an NFP news, eh? Someone is not saying this is not NFP news. Payment payrolls over here, okay, let me check. Oh yes, still this is ADP, sorry, this is ADP. I can see people are following now. Yes. So on Wednesday we have the CPI for, let's start over here on Wednesday. Sorry, I jumped over here. Sorry, I jumped over here. This is on Friday, right over here. It's not today. Sorry. So on Wednesday we have CPI for Australian dollar. Remember, we have also the Michelle will be speaking on Tuesday. Chill a bit. That is not Wednesday. So NFB news we have on Friday. Friday, yeah, it is Friday, not Wednesday. Sorry, I confused here on my computer. So as you can see, still is not favoring the dollar right over here. So that means that in case maybe we have this printing lower than this, so we may be having this actually pushing the US dollar to Euro USD to go higher. But you can still the NFP news is not favoring over here. Non-employment over here, employment changes over here is not favoring the dollar over here, which means in the Euro USD the gold over here might actually respond to a very good change right over here. So you can see it's a very interesting week over here. It's a very interesting week over here from Tuesday up to Friday. Employment change over here, employment and unemployment rate change is expected to remain the same, which is very interesting over here. So which means for the dollar over here is going to be amazing over here. Unemployment claims, so you can see between NFP news and employment changes over here, they're actually not favoring the dollar at all. So those are the things that you have to be following up as they are printed right over there. So that is interesting. That is interesting over there. That is very interesting, as we can see over here. So let me check something on metals. Let's check what is happening on the metals. Do we have anything? But remember, the same news actually is going to affect the, those are the same news that are actually going to affect the metals, precious metals over here, silver and gold over here, USSP. Of course, I'll be checking on employment changes over here that are going to affect. So let's check something. I wanted to check on energies like oil, to see whether we are going to be having something different here. But I've not seen that, but okay. So for gold traders, that is going to be interesting week over here. Last night I sent something over here, which is signal on Euro USD, because we have some news actually that is going to favor that this week. And as you can see right over here, this was the move. This has been the move over here. Let me show you. This has been the move. This is how the market was actually right over here. And today you can see the market is actually trying to go up, from this region when we are comparing this. So what does this mean? All the news that we are expecting this week, employment change, NFP news actually that we are waiting over here, it means that actually they can favor this market to move all this way, and that is what we'll be checking right over there. Now that is quite interesting over here on metal, silver, US oil. I can see everything is actually moving this well this morning. Now let's just check a little bit on technical analysis, resuming from what we did last time. Remember, there's something that we were doing last time over here, and we expected this market to come to this position. For those who are following our last class right over here, we are expecting this market was actually over here, and we expected it to touch our line over here, if actually you are following up. And this is actually very important zone to us over here. As you can see, the market is still on the trend. Right over here, and this is where we are expecting the market to respond from. Okay, we are expecting this market to respond from this place and to go right up over here. So in case this news that we expect this week to come over here to favor the market, then this is the favor we are expecting this market to respond right over here. This is what we expect for it actually to respond right from here, at least to go to 1.1 over there, going to that direction over here from Tuesday going onward. Okay, let's maybe we just have some inflation rate being written, and next time the result will just be expecting. And in case maybe they don't lower up, then we can expect more hikings, and they are going to bring this low over here. But for this week, we can expect a little bit of response towards upward. Okay, so that's what we can see right over here. On the GBP USD has been responding the same way right over here, but you can see it actually broke this one. So we expected at least it to come to this region, but when you actually use our indicators right over here, like RSI, you can see still the movement is not yet oversold. So there's possibilities that the GBP actually, so in this case we have where the GBP is actually losing against the dollar a little bit. So we might maybe see this move coming down over here, because you can see there's no other point can be tested over here, the market. So this possibility the GBP USD actually can just continue to go lower until to this point over here. Okay, so there's possibilities for this movement over here because of a lot of things. But in case maybe we have these news concerning the dollar that are going to affect the market, then the possibilities that we have is to break out this and maybe continue to come all this way. So you can see we don't have a lot of news event happening in in British over here. So the possibilities for this to come over here would actually be very nice over here, at least to retrace from here. So you can try to come over here and let's see. I was expecting this market to reverse from this position over here, but you can see it is still broken over here. Unless maybe this market comes over here, breaks this region here again, then that is when we can expect it to end higher and maybe forming another high. But you can see it is still wanted to break the character over here, because this of the market has just been moving, but this time is actually want to move downward over here. Okay, interesting. So another thing we checked last time, we have a lot of these things over here. We checked responding I want to check on what we checked last time, and so you can see on the USD Swiss franc over here, our movement is actually now at the very important region that you were speaking about over here. But I still think this market has positions actually of moving higher over here. So this actually is a very important zone. But remember, in case the news that we expect this week actually does not strengthen the dollar, is actually weakening the dollar over here, then there's high possibilities. Now this is actually, you can see actually these are very important zone over here around this area. This is what we are talking about. Remember, when we are talking about this last week, the market was here. The market was here on Monday, and we say in this market there's high chances it will come to this position over here, and you can see actually it is around that area. And now that is the time we'll be having this market now trying to come all this way down. So that is a very interesting zone where the market actually can just be ending to over here. Okay, so remember, this week all the news that we have been having over here actually not favoring the dollar mostly. So that is what we can see right over here. In case the dollar actually loses over here, then we'll be expecting this zone to be ending downwards right over here. Remember also the dollar index is another thing that we'll be checking. We checked right over here last time, and let me check to 1 hour time frame. You can combine all that. One is another thing that actually that is very important over here, and you can see this is a very important zone, which means that this week is very interesting, because all those zones actually have to be very important zone actually. And if you compare the news that we have, as I've said over here, not favoring the dollar, not favoring the dollar index over here, then there's possibilities that this can actually be ending towards this over here. Remember, we entered 2 positions over here. This was one of it, and the market we expected it to come over here. So which means that for me, if you ask me now, I'll be trying to find a position to enter across this area. And what I can just be looking at over here is to look whether we are going to have this candle over here closing being around over here. But you can see this would look like not a doji, but it's a good candles candle over here that I'll be looking over here is this red one over here. In case maybe it closes below that, then that is I will know that we are going to have a very to short this market from that position, and I'll be shorting it from this or this way down around this area. So unless this market comes and test this position again, that is 101.2, and I'll be interesting things over here. But remember, in case maybe it comes up, then it actually going to test this region around this area. So I'll be having a slight stop loss around this area, and my risk reward ratio can be 2 to something. Okay, in case it breaks this one, then we are going to be having another one around this area. That is another entry. So you can always divide your entries over here and come up with another sell around this area. In case now it proceeds to open that one, so we might be having 2 positions over here, but remember this is very important now. So we'll be focusing on this market, trying to come all this way, because there is a possibility that is going to cause the dollar to lose over here, okay, to weaken. So that is what we can see right over here. So that is what we can see of the dollar index. Remember, the gold is actually the same move, is trying to come to this position right over here, and this is the whole of week. It can actually take the whole of this week between. In case now this market, let me go to 4-hour time frame so that you can see this better. So so you can see this move. These are the gold been moving. Remember, the long time move for the gold is actually 1800, so that's what we can see in long time over here. And remember what we said last time on Monday we were talking when the market actually was here. The market was down this region over here. So last Monday, if you can check on that, we were talking about when the gold was actually around this area, and we were talking in case this market breaks this region, then we are going to be buying. So for those who are following, I think they bought around this area over here from 1900 over here and making all this massive result over here. But remember, our focus was, our last point was 1940, 1930, and that is when we said that in case maybe you have a long position that you are going to take over there, then that is where we are going to assist, because after the market touches this 1930 over here, then there's possibility this market can actually add up to 1800, going all the way down over there. So maybe what we can see over here, you will be having some news supporting this move to 1930, then that will be very interesting. Then Paul will actually be coming again with these things of hiking interest rate later, and then we can just combine all these things over here. Okay, let's see how these things unfolds, because between today and Friday we have those news over here, including the NFP news over here that coming on Friday. So let's see where the market will just be leading us over here. In case the unwanted becomes over here, then we actually be ready for that. But what I can be waiting over here is this market actually to either in a long term, maybe throughout this week, I expect maybe to be coming around this area, but maybe to test around this again 1900 over here. But in the long term, maybe we're just going to be testing this point before maybe we break this sword again. So that is my expectations that I can actually see over there for the gold, and that way. So that is what has been happening over here. So we have the US oil that is very volatile. Remember, very volatile over here. So after actually achieving the mark of 84 that was a very important zone. Let me show you, but it actually failed to break that. We are talking about this zone, and we are talking about breaking those zones, this zone over here. So after this zone, we expected the market to be touching across this area again, so this region. So that is what we are expecting right over here. So in case this market breaks this region to come all this way, then the 90 to 90 actually will be now our possibilities, where the market will actually be ending right over here. But as you can see, the market is just trying to correct a little bit over here, but there's high possibilities that this market will actually be ending up, and over here there is high possibilities it will actually be ending up over here, because you can see this zone has been tested so many times. So in case actually to test this one again, in case you see this market touching this again, then you actually ought not to be shorting this market again. Don't try to short again, because the possibilities is that there is always breakout around this region over here. So we'll be having something like buy stop around this area. You can have a buy stop around this area, because there's possibilities the US oil actually can just go all this way. But remember, anytime we are trading the US oil, it's very volatile, so make sure that you take care on that. Okay, make sure that you take care on the US oil. So on Wednesday we have US oil, crude oil inventories. Okay, we don't have yet predictions over here or the forecast. So gases over here are going to affect US, and farm employment change is going to, NFP news will just be affecting it this week. Those are the things that actually can affect the US oil this week, so we'll be checking on that mostly. So we'll be checking to see whether it's going to touch this region, and then we are going to be having the buy stop across that area. So that is interesting over here. Bitcoin movement over here, that we saying this is a very important zone over here. The market, when we were speaking, the market was around this area over here. So we was focusing on buying around this area, and still if you can buy around this area, then what's very interesting, because we can be focusing this market to be coming all this way up. But there's a lot of news that we can be focusing on the crypto, but that is another class will be having, another market outlook will be having for the crypto side. But you can see still we have this market trying to recover from what it lost to last week, part one over here, and the same thing as Ethereum. So that is the move we'll be been having over here, that region becoming so important to the crypto traders right over here. So don't forget to be checking on these news as they are being released. So if you want to check on these anytime maybe they are going to be released over here, you can follow the discussions maybe on the Bloomberg over here, or on the daily FX. That is where you can see as the news being released, so that you can just be trending over here. For those who don't know how to trend news, let me just go this one straight, so that you can just understand. It's just very easy. I've done the class for fundamental analysis on how you can interpret all this news, so that you can be following up to understand how they affect the market, how they affect market. We have retail sales over here. I've discussed about the CPI data. I've discussed about the employment and unemployment, NFP news, how they affect the market over here. So you can just be following up on that. So as you can see, like for example, let's talk about NFP news over here. In case you can see it print lower than 169 over here, is actually going to print rand. Okay, the moment actually the print trend, that means it's not favoring the dollar. So for the gold, we expect it to go higher. For the euro USD, you expect it to go higher as well, and all that one. So for the base currency where the US dollar is actually based, then you expect the bear market over here. So it's just simple like that. You can be following up on how clearly the NFP affect the news. Always discussed that. So that's what we can see. The calendar is still full and a lot of things that we expect this week. Make sure that you always follow. For more, we'll just be bringing you an update for what is happening to the market all this